Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cuppacast for the first time in probably a good month now.
It's been a minute.
It's been pretty much the entire playoffs, besides about the first three games of the first round. We're outside today. We are out in nature, switching it up for the season finale.
We love nature.
Of course, we love being out in nature. It's always a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Really, this is more of like another playoff special, even though the last one was kind of a playoff special. It's like the post-playoff special.
I guess we just love playoff specials.
We did say all year that we love playoff basketball.
That's true.
There's a lot to kind of recap. There's a lot to go over. I feel like we didn't have the end of any of the first rounds for our last episode because we were only about a half of the way through them. So I don't really know where we should start with them. If we should go conference, if we should go by round. Either way, our playoff predictions were terrible.
Yeah, I was literally gonna mention that. I'm like, we shouldn't bring up our predictions. Those were
that was.
I don't.
It's pretty brutal.
It was awful. I don't even. And I felt so confident with my predictions.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I had like the right explanations with everything and like
for sure.
the teams with everything.
Yeah.
Just like both. Oh man, it's brutal to see.
It was tough. It was very tough.
But we'll talk about some playoff basketball.
Let's talk about some playoff basketball. Where do you want to start? Anywhere in particular in the first round we had a couple good series, a couple bad series in the first round, a couple that we could forget about probably.
Definitely. And I guess if we're talking about forgetting series, we can start off with the Sixers because obviously we talk most about the Sixers.
Yeah.
We got
We do have a
insight,
tendency to talk about the Sixers a lot.
Even though I said that was a series to forget, I feel like that's not a series to forget.
It was a good series.
It was a good series. I feel like every game, I always was confident, like, the Sixers can still win this series.
Yeah.
Like, even in Game 6, I was like, the Sixers can win this game.
It was back and forth.
It literally was. So, I mean, it's brutal to see. Embiid still led the entire playoffs with points per game.
Technically, yes.
I still think that's crazy to see. But I think if we can just bring some of the role players that we had back on this team, I feel like the Sixers can be back.
They need to be smart.
Definitely.
Money-wise, they need to be smart.
And our GM and our owner does not like to be smart with our money.
They have a tendency to not be smart with money, as most other GMs are. Obviously, the rumor of Paul George is circling around.
Miles Bridges.
I've heard Miles Bridges now, which is brutal. I've heard Jimmy Butler, of course, a little bit. Not as much, but he's been in the conversation a little bit.
Even LeBron James.
LeBron was in the talks because obviously he's unrestricted.
Yep.
This offseason, I guess now he's unrestricted because the season's over, so he's officially an unrestricted free agent. So there's going to be a lot of drama in the offseason. But overall, for both teams in that series, it was a good series. It was close, it was frustrating at times to watch as a Sixers fan, just because it was stressful. Very stressful series.
And it was the New York Knicks.
And obviously it was the Knicks. We have talked a lot about the Knicks and a lot about the Sixers over the course of the season. So, but I would say that it was probably the best playoff series, honestly.
For sure.
I think it was the most entertaining one.
I think every game was like the most before like the finals and stuff like that, and the Western Conference Finals, those series. I think it was like the most watched playoff games up until then.
They were all close.
They were all really close. There wasn't like there was any like
I don't think
blowout.
There wasn't a blowout. I don't think there was like an 8 or more point win.
Everything was a nail biter. You're up on your feet, just like praying
going
that
crazy
something happens,
about it.
And then when something good happens, you're super hype, and then obviously when stuff doesn't go your way, you're hurt by it.
It's brutal.
I think that series by Maxey was a huge
green flag.
Yeah, green flag, and like cemented him as like a serious like all-star and a serious not role player, a serious piece for this team.
Definitely.
And how just special that kid is, bro.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
what was it, Game 5?
It was Game 4, wasn't it, where he hit the 3-pointer?
Oh my God, I was going crazy. It
was a great game.
Almost in tears, bro.
Yeah.
It was a crazy game.
They showed a lot of resilience.
Yep.
It was a tough series. I think the series is a lot different. Had Game 1 with Embiid's injury, gone a different way. It's like I said, that it changes the whole playoffs. It changes how you game plan. It changes how you play. Not that Embiid didn't play, up to how he was expected to play, because I think he still fulfilled his role.
For sure.
He still averaged, 30 whatever points. Honestly, it was his best. Ironically enough, gets eliminated in the first round, and it's somehow still his best playoff performance, it felt like. But it's promising.
Yeah.
Because for once it felt like we didn't see Embiid totally just give up in the playoffs. Because I know that was a little bit of the feeling, a little bit last year, a little bit against Miami, There's been a lot of struggles in the playoffs for him. So to see him kind of actually want to go out there, and it felt like he actually wanted to, not take any time off at all. It didn't feel like he wanted to sit for a minute, which is surprising.
He was going through whatever he was going through.
Exactly.
Right?
Bell's palsy. Yeah, he had Bell's palsy. He was recovering from the knee injury, re-injured that same knee on a dunk. So now he's playing with this huge brace that's like super wrapped and tight on his leg.
That's heavy. That's got to be heavy
for a big man too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of force down on his legs. It'll be, obviously in the future, it'll be interesting to see how the Sixers rebound. But they have a lot of just stuff to do this offseason. There's a lot of work to be done. It's not like they're not a team that can be like, all right, well, we didn't get it done this year, so we'll just try again next year. That's really not the feeling. I don't think personally that's the feeling for the Sixers yet. And on the other end, for the Knicks, I mean, for Knicks fans, it's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
I'm a Knicks hater, so obviously I'm going to be the one that's going to say this, but I don't really know if this playoff run was that impressive for them.
It really wasn't. I mean, you saw in the second round, we even said this in the beginning of the year on how Thibodeau was just overusing his players. And saw that.
There's a clip of it.
You saw that in the second round. I mean, everyone was getting hurt. They were tired. Like, they couldn't even keep up. Like, it was just bad to see.
It was terrible.
Like, Anunoby couldn't even breathe, bro. Hart got injured. I mean, and even Brunson got injured.
Yeah.
It was like it was a hand injury.
It was some weird injury, kind of like freak injury, if you will.
But still, I mean, that's how you injure players. So I don't really know what you could expect from them.
Yeah.
I don't even think that win from the Sixers was even that impressive.
I think it was too close for it to be impressive.
That's what I'm saying.
It was good for them. Like, it was impressive in the way that, okay, you battled it out and you won the series. Like, good job. That's a good win.
You were a 3 seed.
They were a 2 seed.
Oh, you were a 2 seed.
Yeah.
That's even.
But you're also the 2nd seed, right? Yeah. And I get that, like, the Sixers really shouldn't have been the 7th seed in the first place. They should have been probably they should have been the 3 seed at least. Especially the way the East played out this year.
They just needed one more. They needed to win one more. They would have been.
But either way, to be the 2 seed, you get the win versus Sixers, which is fine because the Sixers were a better team than they're seeded, obviously. But then you went to 7 versus the 6-seeded Pacers, who weren't a bad team at all. But like, you see some of the players on that Pacers team, and you're like, what? You lost to them? You lost to those guys?
Hallie, Siakam, and then...
You lost to Andrew Nembhard in the playoffs? He cooked you guys in the playoffs? Stop it. T.J. McConnell cooked the Knicks in multiple playoff games.
Oh, my gosh, bro.
As the higher seed, you got cooked by 30-some-year-old T.J. McConnell.
Yeah, he was talking his stuff, bro. He was
and Halliburton didn't even play that good, really.
No. He was on your court talking all that stuff, bro, and they came to play.
Yeah. It felt like another one of those kind of like... It almost felt like a repeat, not a repeat, but like similar to the 2019 playoffs in the East.
Yeah.
Where like once the Raptors beat the Sixers, they were going to the finals. Like the Bucks weren't going to beat them.
Yeah.
Whoever came out of that wasn't going to beat them. Also reminiscent of the 2021 playoffs, right? Where the Hawks beat the Sixers, and it was like, okay, have fun in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like we know you're not going to win, so it really doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, I guess we don't really have to go series by series, but we can kind of follow how it went. The Pacers got smacked by the Celtics.
Yep. Everyone saw it coming.
I don't think anybody was beating the Celtics in the East. We both still picked the Sixers to come out of the East, as silly as that was. But nobody was beating the Celtics, respectfully. No. They lost, 3 games coming out of the East?
That's unreal.
Maybe 2 games. Oh, they dropped 1 to the Heat, right?
Yeah.
So 3 games then.
Yeah. That's unreal.
So, yeah.
It's unheard of.
And that was... I mean, the Heat weren't fully healthy, right? Because wasn't Harrow out?
Yeah, Harrow
and Butler was injured. as usual with the Heat, I feel like every year somebody's injured from those three guys, whether it's Harrow, Adebayo, or Butler.
All of their series, they had injuries, but I'm not going to say it was a Mickey Mouse.
No, nobody was beating them anyway.
No.
I don't think anybody was beating them.
I mean, what do you expect for them to just lose and just let them wait till Donovan Mitchell comes back? No.
Yeah,
just gonna
it doesn't make any sense.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to completely just mop the floor on every one of those teams.
And I mean, it's not even like they were like playoff injuries, really. Donovan Mitchell missed like 35 games this year. You know, Jimmy Butler missed a portion of the season. Tyler Herro missed a portion of the season. Tyrese Halliburton missed a large portion of the season as well. So, yes, there were a lot of injuries on that ride, but they were pre-existing. You know, it's not like these were out of the blue injuries where, like, you know, something happened in game and then they go down. No. They were hurt before. It's not the Celtics' fault.
No.
Even if it was, they were killing those teams anyway.
Everyone, I don't know a single person that didn't say the Celtics were coming out.
Yeah, I mean,
before
besides
playoffs.
us, we said they weren't coming out technically. As silly as that was, but yeah, the East will still run through Boston next year for sure. It's going to be probably a long era of the Celtics unless something happens. You know, I'm not sure when Tatum's due for a new contract.
I don't see why he wouldn't just re-sign with the Celtics.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, depending on how much money he gets, that can limit what they can do now. Because then you can't afford Kristaps Porzingis. You can probably afford Drew Holiday, but
he'll come back.
Those guys will get expensive. You know, that's we saw with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Once your team wins a championship, your role players are now like people want those role players. Like, you'd be crazy if you were the Sixers and you weren't trying to shop like Peyton Pritchard or something.
For sure.
Or Sam Hauser or something. Even Sam Hauser, dude. Like, the guy literally goes on the court, hits threes, and goes off. That's it.
That's all he needs to do.
He could easily get a cool $5 million a year. A team would pay him that. Or more. They would pay him that.
That's all you need to do. Kyle Korver was signing deals when he was like 35 for cheap.
Exactly.
Just to shoot threes. I would love that. This is something I'm not saying Buddy Hield's,
he wasn't even a champion.
Yeah, Buddy Hield's a lot younger and he's a lot better than Sam Hauser. Mm-hmm. But just saying, like, bringing him back for a team friendly deal.
Yeah.
You need his shooting. Mm-hmm. Like,
every team needs that shooting.
You need to bring him back. Yeah. You need shooting like that.
You won't win a championship if you can't shoot.
Yeah,
it's simple.
I'm not even saying this for just Sixers.
Like,
Sixers
just in general.
Literally just everyone in general. Those players like that, like that can just shoot out, like shoot lights out, they're so valuable to your team.
Literally, the most valuable player. And, I mean, that's why it's so frustrating because the Celtics have so many of those guys. Mm-hmm. And they all drafted them.
That's just...
They drafted all of them.
Their front office is insane.
They drafted Hauser. They drafted Pritchard. They drafted Al Horford. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he left and came back, but they still drafted him. You know, they literally... The only people that they really brought in for this chip was KP. I mean, major players was KP and Giroux. Mm-hmm. And they got them by trading good homegrown players like Robert Williams.
Yeah. Everyone thought Robert Williams was going to be that center for that championship center for the Celtics.
Yeah, he was scary.
He had a great run in the finals for the Celtics, and he got hurt. But everyone moved on.
They shipped him off to Portland.
Yeah, that's
they sent him away.
But they said, "All right, I got to move on. Yeah. Can't deal with his injuries." Mm-hmm. Brought back freaking, who was it? Anyway,
I can't remember off the top of my head.
They shipped them off. They brought more people in.
Yeah.
They won a championship.
That front office is crazy.
That's crazy. All right, should we...
They really did that, man.
I don't want to talk about the Celtics anymore. It's getting me sad.
They really did that. Either way, some other big factors, anything else from the East, really. Giannis was hurt. He went down.
That's such a shame, man.
I'm okay with what they did with Giannis because it was an Achilles injury.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth it. What is he, 30 now?
He's getting... Wow.
Was that... He's got to be 29 or 30 now because he won the finals at 26. And that was 3 years ago. Damn. Almost 4 years ago now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So... Listen, like, he's still one of the best players on the planet. He was he wasn't a finalist for MVP, but he was in the talks for it. I think he averaged close to 30 this year again.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't have a problem with that. And I love Giannis. You know, I've always been a fan of his game. I think he's a fun player to watch. He's dominant in a way that there really isn't any guys like him anymore. There's no really run and dunk man in the league anymore. So I'm okay with what they did with him. Damian Lillard, you did exactly what I expected of you, and you dookied your pants in the playoffs, and you guys got bummed in the first round by the Pacers, which is embarrassing. Even though you have the excuse for the Giannis injury, that's still very embarrassing for that franchise. But injury bug is the injury bug, so you can't really do anything about it,
It's just a shame. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we really expected Damian Lillard to just do that. I can't even, when Giannis went out, I didn't really expect the Bucks to do anything.
No.
You needed Giannis.
He's the winning piece. Yeah, he's the winning piece.
Exactly.
He is the core. And then I think the only other series, we haven't really talked about the Cavs that much.
Oh, Cavs.
Cavs Magic first round was all right. It was good on the latter half, much more than the first half.
Mm-hmm.
The first 3 or 4 games were boring. Very boring. It was just like a low scoring but somehow offensive blowout.
Yeah, it's just weird.
So listen, not many first-time playoff teams can go to 7 like the Magic did. So it gives me a lot of kind of like hope, especially for Paolo to really thrive there.
Yeah, they're super young.
So, and I think he's one guy that would be willing to stay there for a while probably. I feel like, obviously I don't know the guy, but he seems like the guy that would finally probably want to stay with Orlando, but we'll figure that out for real.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know.
This was their first playoff appearance, and we just got to go off of that to see if they can bounce back and make another appearance.
They played more first-round games than the Sixers did.
Yeah, that is... Oh, wow. Yeah, that is
true. There you go. Shout out to Paolo Banchero. The Cavs did all right. I feel like this has been the story of this Cavs Big Four for years now.
Yeah,
It's just been like, all right, you're expected to be good. You're expected to have 3 or 4 All-Stars. It doesn't happen. Donovan Mitchell's an All-Star. Then Jared Allen is a reserve because he just is every time. Maybe Evan Mobley gets a spot or Darius Garland, depending on who's having a good year.
Yeah.
You go to the playoffs as a 4 seed or 5 seed, and you either win in the first round and lose in the second round, or you just lose in the first round. I don't think anything's happening.
They need that bigger. I don't know if it's just a bigger piece or just that one piece that can just give them that push that they need.
It's just so confusing because they have a good roster.
Or it's maybe that the chemistry between them isn't just
that's what I think it is.
It's good. Maybe shipping one of them off, bringing something back, even getting a draft pick or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just what you got to do.
It's just very confusing because you expect them to be better than they are, and they're okay, but they can't. People expect them every year to make that jump to the Celtics and the Bucks and Sixers, Knicks level, and then they just don't do it. It just doesn't happen, and it's so weird why it doesn't happen. You
have that 2-guard backcourt that's perfect, 2 All-Stars. You have the 2 front court with 2 All-Stars. Well,
it's an ideal lineup. They have an ideal lineup.
So you have, like you said, 4 All-Stars. Yeah. What's happening? And you don't have a bad bench, I don't feel like.
No, they don't have a bad bench at all.
Pretty solid bench.
And they have a good coach.
I don't know what...
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
They play all right basketball. I just feel like it's got to be a personality thing or something, because it doesn't make sense. Because and obviously paper doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is on paper. Obviously, we know that. But you have an underrated big man who will do what a big man traditionally does and just get rebounds and putbacks. That's all Jared Allen does. He doesn't shoot, obviously. He doesn't create. He doesn't have to, right? Yeah. You have a high draft pick forward who's 6'11", arguably 7 foot, who gives you rim defending and rim running.
Yeah.
Okay, the small forward is fine. It's Isaac Okoro, whatever. Because your front court, you have at shooting guard, you have one of the best shooting guards supposedly in the league in Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, enough said about him. You don't even have to say anything about him. Yeah, and then you have another supposed to be underrated point guard in Darius Garland.
One-time All-Star.
One-time All-Star who averaged 12 assists in a season, and this year he just fell off the earth.
Yeah, I dealt with a little bit of injuries, but he hasn't really bounced back from that All-Star season. Like, even the year after that,
exactly.
It was just all right, and then you got this year.
So it's like, you guys are all good at basketball. What's the issue?
I honestly, I hate to say this because I really, really like him, but I almost feel like it has to do something with Darius Garland. And I don't know why, but I like what Jared Allen does what he does. Like you said, he gets the job done every night. He goes in, he does whatever. Evan Mobley, he's young, he's still producing. Yeah. He's, like you said, he's high.
He's like 20 years old.
Exactly. So he's supposed to just get better from here.
He is
every year. All right, like you said, enough about Donovan Mitchell. But we just kind of said, like, he was an all-star, but after that, like, it's just like, where's he been?
He was so good that year too.
I know. That's why I said I hate it, because I love seeing him play.
Yeah.
Like, it was just such like a mid kind of trash Cavs team.
He was I mean,
Darius Garland just being
he just
crazy.
popped off. Yeah, it was before Donovan Mitchell was there, and I mean,
that's what I was gonna say. Is it because Donovan Mitchell came in and just stole like all his light?
Is that I was gonna say that, like, is this more of a Donovan Mitchell issue, and we're not realizing that it is?
We could. That is true. It could be.
I mean,
are we blinded by the fact that it's just he just gets 35 points a game, but then like
he just doesn't. That's all he does.
Sometimes he'll even just lose when he drops like 33.
It's very confusing. It makes you really start to question Donovan Mitchell and what he's done. He really didn't have a deep playoff run with the Jazz at all, and they just broke that team up.
Yeah,
there wasn't any beef, but they still broke it up. Nothing happened. He goes to the Cavs. It's supposed to be great. Mitchell's playing good himself, but his team's not winning.
Yeah.
So at what point does it become that Donovan Mitchell's not the winner? I feel like what we need to start talking about a little bit. Like, is he the one that's holding them back?
That's a good point.
It's just weird. I don't think that anybody wants to lead on the Cavs.
Yeah, there's nothing that's just like wows you about the Cavs.
Yeah.
You just got you have a
that's
super
what I'm saying.
You have a super young like forward that like I mean
they have good pieces.
Yeah, they have just good pieces, but nothing like just like wows you about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody wants to be the guy on the team.
Exactly.
Jared Allen, no offense, Jared Allen's a weird dude. So, like, I feel like he's already out as, like, the leader of the team. I don't know if I've ever heard Evan Mobley speak in my life. And we back. A little bit of technical difficulties. We're a little bit closer now. Hopefully we don't have that issue again.
Hopefully.
We were talking about the Cavs a little bit, but I think we're just going to fade the Cavs now.
Yep.
Because we talked about them a lot. I felt like we were saying kind of the same stuff a little bit.
Yeah, fade.
But we have the Western Conference to talk about still. Like we said, the West was going to be the conference where anything could really happen.
For sure, and a lot happened.
A lot happened, yeah. A lot of interesting stuff happened. Let's think. I mean, first round, you picked the Pelicans to upset the Thunder.
All right, yeah, we can talk about this
one. Which did not happen.
That was... I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the fans out there. That was a horrible pick.
It's a pretty silly pick.
I can't even just, like, fathom the fact that I even picked them to even go 7. They got swept.
Yeah. 7 was kind of crazy.
I mean, that was the only, like, way I could feel like they could win, like, a series.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's no way they could get
not a chance.
5 or 6.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Or even sweep them. But they did not look good. There's nothing I can really say about them. Zion did not play at all.
Yeah.
And that was a huge factor.
It really never ends. It never ends with that guy.
Yeah.
I swear, it really never ends with him.
It really questions, like, is it getting to the end of...
Already, though? How old is Zion?
He's young, but, like,
he's
so
like
many...
22, maybe?
So
23?
many injuries. Could he be, like, the next, like, Greg Oden?
I think he's too far past to be Greg Oden at this point. Greg Oden was an all-star. Zion was an all-star, right?
He was an all-star.
Yeah, Greg Oden was never an all-star.
Yeah.
So automatically, I think that rules him out of that conversation. But, I really don't think he's in a bust conversation yet.
No.
I think we're too far out for him to be a bust at this point. That's like saying, oh, Andrew Wiggins was a bust. Yeah. At this point in his career, we're still calling Andrew Wiggins a bust? No, he's not a bust. He wasn't like, was he a number 1 pick? Probably not, but
he won a chip.
He's done some stuff in his career at least. Sure. He's played basketball. So
there's been far worse number 1 overall picks.
Also, the Pelicans I saw something, I don't know if you saw it, but the Pelicans can offer Brandon Ingram this offseason a contract worth $52 million a year.
I did see that. That's crazy.
That's wild.
That is absurd because that is so cheap. I'm kidding. But you cannot be paying Brandon Ingram
not
that much money.
It's outrageous.
He was an all-star a couple years ago, but he is not producing at that level anymore.
He's very good.
That's literally all.
He's not great. He's not very great. He's very good.
He's very good. That's literally all you can say about Brandon Ingram. He'll get you
He'll score.
Oh yeah, he'll score, but really else, what else is he?
Probably it. Yeah.
He doesn't really play that good at defense. He'll get you 6 rebounds, but he doesn't really play make. He's just kind of a shot creator.
Oh yeah, he's a shot creator for sure. Pelicans, very confusing team. A team with potential that they like the Cavs.
Yeah.
They have potential, but just nothing happens. So it's a very weird spot to be in for them. On the other hand, the team that they faced and the team that beat them and killed them,
number 1 team,
the number 1 seed, the youngest number 1 seed ever by average age, the OKC Thunder, are like I said, on the opposite end of the spectrum in that everything good is happening for the Thunder right now.
Yeah.
Everything's going in their way.
For sure, they're so up. I mean, that they did what they should have done in that series.
They killed them.
They literally killed them.
They killed them.
There's nothing really you could say for that series. They did what they needed to do. Shea looked great. Jay Will looked great.
Definitely looked great.
Chet was doing Chet things. I love Chet Holmgren. I love just Wemby and Chet. I'm not gonna talk about it, but I just want to say I love that they're just gonna. I hope they both stay healthy and they can just continue to battle out in the future of the NBA. But then there's Josh Giddey. But they just done what they did. They done did it. There's really nothing else I can say.
Absolutely.
They just did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna repeat myself.
They played well. Going into the second round, they continued to play well. That second round was versus the Wolves, right?
Yep.
Wolves beat the Clippers. Clippers fluked. I forget. I think I picked the Clippers. No, I didn't. No way I picked the Clippers because I picked the Wolves out of the West.
You picked the Wolves.
Man, I was so close to that too. I think I had Nuggets Wolves. I don't know what happened. Either way, the Clippers lost in the first round. They sucked really bad.
It was awful.
If you will. Kawhi did not play. He played, one game?
Yeah.
And he was done.
Yeah, he looked.
Again.
He just didn't even look like he wanted to play.
It doesn't ever end with Kawhi Leonard, I think. I don't think it ever ends with the injury and the load management stuff. It doesn't make sense. Gosh. What did they pay him to do?
Yeah, I don't.
He played the most regular season games in his career this year.
Wow.
And then he plays one playoff game and sits. And that's it. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Why
did you play in the regular season then? They pay you to play in the playoffs. That was why they traded for him. Mm-hmm. They traded for you right off of your championship win, thinking, hey, listen, this dude just killed everybody in the playoffs. He has hit a buzzer beater, slaughtered Giannis, and took the Warriors down. This man's going to win us 7 chips in a row. Because they paid him like he did, and they gave up a haul for Paul George like they were going to win 8 championships. And Kawhi has not been healthy for a single playoff run.
It's just sad to see. You just haven't seen him since. Like you just said, you played one game.
Doesn't make any sense.
You have and his team is stacked.
Yeah.
You have another player aside you. I mean, even in that playoffs, you had Kyle Lowry, you had Siakam, you had Van Vliet.
It just wasn't like the Clippers.
But it wasn't Paul George.
Yeah.
It wasn't
James Harden.
It wasn't James
Russell
Harden.
Westbrook. Yeah.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
You have a far better team than you did when you were on the Raptors. So I don't see why you can't succeed.
Yeah.
Man, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Because load management just
it sucks.
It sucks, bro.
It sucks.
It really, really sucks. But
what a ride the Clippers went on this year.
Seriously, I had them coming out of that series too.
We experienced the highs and lows with the Clippers. We talked about them so much this year.
Oh my goodness.
When they were terrible, and then when they were the best team on the league, and then when they were terrible again. And they collapsed in the playoffs. Like always.
And it sucks because, like you said about Kawhi in the regular season, he started playing so good, I felt like.
He was playing.
Yeah, he was actually playing, and he was doing what he needed to do, and then you just see nothing. You see a game of him, and he dropped, 16 points or something like that?
It wasn't a good game.
It just was...
It was an all right game.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah. But either way, that series kind of gave us the introduction to who the Wolves would end up becoming in the playoffs. And Anthony Edwards he made his presence felt this season.
Oh my
God. And especially this playoffs. He really, I feel like we had the conversation at the beginning of the year about Tyrese Haliburton and Anthony Edwards and whether or not they were superstars already or if they still had to prove themselves. And I think Ant definitely proved that he's a superstar officially now.
Yeah, no,
I think he can be considered one.
I love this because I think I said this in the beginning of the year how he was like on the leap, like he was literally jumping right over that mountain to get to that superstardom. But like you said, in this series and this whole entire playoffs, he just proved that he's a superstar.
Yeah,
he went crazy. He wiped the Suns. He went here, and then he went on to play the. Did you say the Thunder in the second round?
Who eliminated the Thunder? No, the Mavs played the Thunder. The Mavs beat the Clippers. That's a casual take on my part. So then he beat the Nuggets in 7.
Okay, oh my God,
that was a big series. The defending champions.
You can almost say that series alone was literally that push to his
kind of welcome
to a superstar.
Welcome to the club kind of moment.
Exactly. I mean, you knocked down the defending champion. You made a Jokic he played all right. He didn't even play to Jokic standards. I feel like he had games where he did.
Yeah,
but when you saw him play, it was just like, oh, okay.
He didn't necessarily play bad. I think that he was just more out of touch with his cast. Mm-hmm. And the Wolves defense played really good. That was probably the peak of the Wolves defense in the playoffs.
That was insane.
So yeah, the Wolves defense was kind of like the star of the show for them, along with Ant, because Ant did the scoring mostly. Obviously Jaden McDaniels had a couple good games. Cat had one good game.
Yeah.
Rudy had he had his own versions of good games, stuff like that. They were clicking. Mike Conley was getting playoff minutes.
He was knocking down big shots.
Yes, but Ant was the guy there.
Of course.
But the first 2 rounds, the way they played defense was amazing. The way that they were switching, predicting where Jokic was going with the ball. And what I think they did very well, which is what I had always said would be the way to beat the Nuggets, was they isolated Jokic.
Yeah.
And they made him work one-on-one. And I think Jokic is a phenomenal one-on-one player. He's great. There's a reason he averages a 30-point triple-double in the playoffs every year. Mm-hmm. But when you keep forcing him to shoot the ball, he's not going to win as many games because he thrives off of getting his shooters open. Mm-hmm. That's how they won the chip. Murray was open. Porter's open. When he was on the team, Bruce Brown, he's open. KCP's open. He had shooters, right?
Yeah.
They isolated Jokic. They made him stay inside, in the paint within, that 10-foot, 15-foot mark of the rim. And they made passes tough.
Yeah.
They did what's the coach's name? Chris Finch, right? The Wolves coach?
Yeah, Chris Finch.
Chris Finch did an amazing job game planning for Jokic. And did a horrible job game planning for Luka.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how. How can you so expertly game plan for the best offensive mind we've arguably ever seen, and then not game plan the same way for Luka?
That's a super great point. And I like how you said about the switching.
Yeah.
I think the Mavs really took advantage of that.
They did.
You saw a lot of 1v1s with Luka and Rudy.
It didn't make any sense.
It really didn't. Kyrie versus Rudy. These shifty guards were just getting guarded by big men.
Uh-huh.
We
know how Rudy Gobert guards the perimeter. That's been how he gets killed every year.
There's so many clips there's literally compilations of him just doing circles.
Going back to when the Clippers did it the one year where Terrence Mann had his game and he killed Rudy Gobert in that game. It was very confusing for me. Mm-hmm. When I was watching the games, I didn't really understand what was happening.
Yeah, it was crazy.
To kind of have, because they have expert defenders. I mean, you have the 2 big guys, and I mean, Cat's not a great defender, but he's still 6'11", 6'10". He's still big. You have a 4-time DPOY, by the way, right? 4 or is he 3? He's 4, right? Because he won it this year.
Yeah.
4-time DPOY, by the way. Somehow, Rudy Gobert. You have Jaden McDaniels, who's tall. He's big. He's got a good wingspan, and Naz Reid. Ant's all right on defense, and obviously Mike Conley's all right, but so you have 4 guys on defense that are all league talented. They're extremely good at what they do.
Yeah.
you lock down one of the best offensive teams in the league, and then it just, I don't know, a switch flipped, and it just confused me as a basketball fan.
Yeah,
it didn't make sense.
So I know that Ant said in his post game interview, one of his games, where he just said he was just gassed, where he just got completely outran by Kyrie or it was Luka or something like that. So I mean, even like that, I guess the Mavs just out hustled.
They really did.
The Wolves.
Yeah, they really did.
Which is crazy because you don't really seem that's not really a speedy type lineup.
It was just weird how they were able to get to the rim so well.
Yeah, that's.
It would make sense if the Mavs were shooting the lights out because they were pulling switches to Gobert and Towns, bring them out and shooting over them.
Mm-hmm.
But they were going downhill.
Yeah, their lob game
That's
insane.
where the Wolves defense should thrive. You have 4 tall dudes. The perimeter should be where you're worried, especially against a team like the Mavs, and they just weren't. The Mavs could not care less about shooting.
Yeah.
It was all inside.
They just attacked.
And it worked.
Yeah, they're Luka and Lively and Luka and DJJ.
Mm-hmm.
Their lob game was crazy.
Even Gafford too got in.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, legend Daniel Gafford.
Man.
Oh yeah, it was just crazy, man. And then should we just go straight to the finals? Because
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, we really hit everything.
We keep going from the team just lights up in this series and then collapses.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though this is the Celtics, this is a far better team than the Wolves.
Yeah.
I would still feel
it was a little bit weird.
It was they just turned off. They didn't even seem like they wanted to play. They just came out game 1 and it was
I think part of that is the Celtics were just that good.
We're just that good.
Yeah.
They just completely ran on them.
Maybe I guess some of that they were probably demoralized by it. But they, the Celtics really are just that good of a basketball team. I mean, they arguably played better without KP.
Yeah.
And with him.
For sure.
I mean,
they didn't even need him.
Yeah, they won as many games with him as without him.
Exactly.
They were 2-0 with him and 2-1 without him, but still, that's how you know a team is just better than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You can take a star out like that, like KP, who would probably start on 30 out of 30 teams in the league, and you play just as well without him.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Besides the embarrassing Game 4 loss.
I don't even count that's so embarrassing. That was a horrible game and disgusting game to watch.
Yeah, it was boring.
I say this that the Celtics I think they did that on purpose. I know they wanted to go home and win that, and that's why they came out Game 5 and just turned on the switch again.
They killed them.
They just were all right, we're the Celtics again. We're just gonna kill you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was. I always keep referencing I saw this thing on social media. It was oh yeah, the Celtics every playoff series just have a CTE game where they forget how to play basketball. That's all I can think of whenever they lose a game. I'm like, oh, it's just the Celtics CTE game. They'll be back. And it's exactly what happened. They literally just forgot how to play team basketball. They played the literal Washington Wizards for a game.
Yeah, it was awful.
They're all right, guys, let's just remind Daniel Gafford where he came from and play like the Wizards, I guess. And then they just or I guess Porzingis too. Porzingis was probably hey guys, why don't we play like the Wizards this game and see if we can beat them like the Wizards, even though he didn't even play. But I don't know. It's just a power move, if you will.
Yeah, I don't
it's just we can lose by 40 points and then just win the finals by 20 the next game. It doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, I feel like we're just gonna keep seeing this for a couple years now.
It can get very dangerous.
The Celtics, I mean, they finally got over.
We're gonna see this offseason, how committed some of their players are. If a team comes to Peyton Pritchard and says, hey, dude, we'll give you $12 million a year. The Celtics aren't going to give you that much. They're just not. Because they have to pay other guys that are better than you.
Yeah.
Is Peyton Pritchard really going to stay? Or is he going to go take the bag?
I feel like he would definitely go take the bag.
Every player's going to take that bag. Look at Bruce Brown.
He'll probably get a starting job.
That man, Bruce Brown, was hyped to get a bag after they won because he knew he was going to get paid. What other team did that? That was Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins when they won the championship. They're in the locker room screaming and yelling about how they're about to get a bag because they won a chip. It's the ultimate gold mine. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I don't know what the contracts are, but I think at the minimum they'll bring back Tatum, Brown, Giroux, Horford, and probably KP next year. they'll at least bring back that 5.
Mm-hmm.
They'll probably bring back some of the idiots like Sam Hauser and Luke Cornett and maybe Xavier Tillman III.
Yeah.
But then it's like guys like Peyton Pritchard and some of their other rotational guys, which if they even have any, I kind of forget, that it would be like, all right, maybe they're not coming back. That's where we'll see the difference in the Celtics this year and last year.
Yeah, we'll see if Al Horford decides to hang it up, though.
No, he said he's playing, I thought.
Oh,
I saw that he said after they won it, he was saying that he'll be back next year.
Damn, bro.
So yeah, he's staying in Boston.
Old head.
Honestly, I could see him taking a vet minimum to win another ring.
Yeah, what?
Because
I don't think anyone other team would want him besides the Celtics, maybe.
Listen, he can shoot.
That is true.
Either way, again, we've talked about it. A masterclass by the Celtics in roster building, team building. They have chemistry. They're not like the Cavs where we're not sure who if there's a leader on this team. They have leaders.
Yeah, they have leaders.
They have guys now all with championship experience. They were coming in. How many games did they win this year? 67?
8.
68?
67. No, you're
67
right.
67. And what did they go? 67 and 15, right? That sounds right.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
This was a team coming in that won 67 games, arguably has 4 All-Stars, has 4 career All-Stars, technically. I guess 5 if you count Al Horford. They have already been to the finals. They had been to, 4 Eastern Conference finals.
Yeah.
And people were surprised that, this team was killing everybody, and they were trying to make excuses for injuries. This team wasn't one of the best teams that we've seen in recent years.
Yeah, exactly. What was it their? I don't know, but they had a playoff stat where it was the 5th best all time.
Yeah.
Points per game differential or something like that.
Oh yeah, probably a point differential. I would guess.
It was something like that. But it was just crazy. I said that, and if anyone saw the post, I said that was arguably one of the greatest Celtics teams built in the Celtics franchise. I'm not saying top 3. So. I'm not saying top 5. I'll give them
you don't think it's top 5?
I was gonna give them a top 6.
Top 6, really?
All right, fine.
You can name 5 other Celtics teams to put before them.
I probably could.
61, 62, 63, 64, 65. I honestly think that they are already a top 5 team built. Are we counting individually every year of the 11 rings they won?
No.
Then they're definitely top 5. I think arguably it's a better build than the 2008 team. They didn't trade for anybody besides KP and Giroux. That's it.
Yeah.
They didn't trade for Ray Allen and KG.
Yeah, that is.
That's different kind of building.
Yeah, that's true.
They built this from the ground. This was an 8-year build.
Yeah, that's just great. Oh, that's a good point.
I really do think people. I mean, obviously the people just hate the Celtics, so that's why they're getting a bad rap. It's really one of the best teams that I think it's the best championship winning team that we've seen since the Warriors.
Yeah.
Talent, just basketball wise, I think it's one of the best teams that we've seen since then. I don't know if there's another team really that. I mean, I saw a post on I want to probably say Overtime because they're the only page that would probably post this, saying 2022 Warriors versus 24 Celtics.
I'm taking the Celtics.
I don't think that's a question.
Yeah, what?
I don't really. This is a topic for a different podcast, but I don't think the 22 Warriors were that good of a championship-winning team.
No, for sure.
Steph Curry was a good championship winner.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good piece. Jordan Poole was good. But if we're talking a team-wise, give me the Celtics, give me the Nuggets, give me the Bucks, give me the Raptors.
Yep.
Probably not the Bubble Lakers. Maybe the Bubble Lakers. I don't know. Either way, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good topic to talk about. Though.
Yeah, we can definitely get into that maybe during the off season. But either way, the Celtics' dominant performance, what we expected from them. We didn't want to say it when we picked, obviously, but we all kind of knew that this was going to be the year for them.
For sure.
The West was great, like we had anticipated all year. The East was all right, probably better, a little bit better than we expected, just because some lesser teams won.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a great playoffs to cap off. People were saying that it was boring. I thought it was an all right playoffs. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
I can never complain with playoff basketball. If you really didn't like the NBA playoffs that much, you can watch baseball. There's plenty of baseball on now.
Yeah, for sure.
So pick. They can pick between that. But yeah, a great season. It's been a very memorable season.
For sure.
We've seen a lot of very interesting, a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, it was.
We saw, the Pistons do their thing this year. They just fired Monty Williams as well after signing him to a new contract.
He still has 5 years left. They're paying him for 5 years.
Very confusing. Doesn't make sense.
They're just throwing out money, I guess.
Yeah. We saw good teams. We saw bad teams. We saw great performances. Shai emerged for real. Ant emerged. Halliburton broke out. Brunson really showed off. So yeah, it was overall a great season. So for the playoffs, we're gonna do one final spectacular for the season.
For the season.
For this season, yes.
Should I do the whole season?
Oh no, for the playoffs. But for the season of the podcast.
Okay. I was gonna say for the season, that'd be pretty tough. There's a lot of names. But for the playoffs, I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. We'll start off with our point guard. I have Luka Doncic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everyone knows that he should be the point guard on this lineup. He
led the playoffs in all those stats, right? Like LeBron used to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He finally made the finals. He completely shocked me. I didn't think he would even come out of the first round.
We were hating.
Honestly, I felt like we were kind of hating on the Mavs all year.
Oh, I was.
So, but you got to give him his credit where credit is due.
Mm-hmm.
He just shined every single series. He just made a highlight play after highlight play.
Yeah.
And he was not even just scoring the ball. He was shipping it off. He was getting rebounds. He was still getting, he has to get his triple doubles. So, but, you love to see this out of Luka, and I really hope he can stay putting up numbers like this and productive, because the Mavs could be a scary team in the future.
Definitely can.
But that also says, I want to kind of backtrack here. We'll see if what's up with Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Kyrie was huge on that team, for especially that playoff run.
Yeah, definitely the playoff run.
So, we'll see in the future with that. But for my shooting guard...
I feel like the camera's about to turn off soon.
For my shooting guard, I have Anthony Edwards. I feel like...
Good pick. That pick.
This is another pick. I had another guy in mind, but I don't want to say it.
I know who you're talking about.
Jaylen Brown. I'm not saying him. We all know he didn't deserve that Finals MVP.
Get out of here with the Finals MVP.
I was just like...
That's stupid.
But,
that's such a stupid pick.
Yeah,
but anyway.
But no, Anthony Edwards completely deserved this pick. Like we said prior in the podcast, he made that jump in the playoffs to his level of superstardom, and I loved seeing him just out there, just energetic, just jumping everywhere, talking his smack, getting in the face of Kevin Durant.
Definitely.
That's one of the most intimidating players
of
all time.
Yeah.
You get in the face of Kevin Durant, I could never.
I could.
Well, yeah, we all know you. But me personally, I could not. But that's a young man. Like what is he, like 22?
23,
like
I think.
23?
Yeah.
Talking to Kevin Durant. I don't need to say anything about Kevin Durant. Everyone knows who he is. Yeah. Like he said, y'all know who he is. But just every level, offense, a little bit of defense, and he was winning. No one expected them to be a 2 seed. Or a 3 seed, whatever they were.
I think it was a 3 seed.
Yeah, 3 seed. So he completely deserved this spot. And like I said for Luka, I hope this more for Anthony Edwards. I really hope that the Timberwolves can keep being this productive and keep winning.
Definitely.
Because
they're an exciting team.
Everyone was on their side. It was like everyone versus Timberwolves and everyone versus literally the rest of the NBA. Yeah, pretty much. For my small forward, this guy completely deserves it. Got robbed of the Finals MVP, Jason Tatum.
Doesn't make sense.
Does not make sense. This guy just, for the whole entire season, I hate to say this, but I don't love Jason Tatum as a player, but I love how he plays basketball.
Yeah, he's clean.
That's literally what I was about to say. Everything he does is just so smooth. The way the ball just goes off his wrist and the flick of it, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
And he proved that he's a leader. And I think out of all that team, there's leaders. I like how you said that earlier. Leaders, not a leader. Mm-hmm. But, if you're going to say, strictly a leader, I think that's totally Jason Tatum.
It's him, yeah.
And I feel like he's just proving that he's that, leader. And we kind of saw how salty he was because he totally deserved that.
Yeah, it was very I didn't understand why.
It was so
It
dumb.
really didn't make sense. Looking at some of the statistics from it, it didn't make sense at all.
No, it really didn't.
Considering he led his team in points, rebounds, and assists in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Only 3 other guys have done that. Technically 3 other guys, but it's been like 6 other times because LeBron did it like 4 times.
Yeah.
LeBron, Shaq, and TD, all of them won Finals MVP in the years they did that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It doesn't make sense.
That does not make any sense to me. But he didn't even look like he was honestly trying. He was just going out there, getting 26 and 8 or dropping a triple-double versus the Heat. But there's nothing else to say about Jason Tatum. He got his ring and
champion.
He now cemented whatever more of his legacy into NBA.
Yeah.
So at my power forward, this was tough, because like it's not tough because there was a lot of like good pieces. There was just kind of like, I feel like, but I put Naz Reid only because like I hate kind of saying this.
Interesting. At the 4, okay.
At the 4. Because I had to put this at my 5. I can't wait for everyone to hear this. But I had to put him at my 4 because I really feel like he shined in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, he really jumped. This guy was an undrafted free agent or undrafted rookie.
Yeah.
And now he's a consistent starter.
It's
putting
crazy
up 30 minutes.
how like he kind of started as like that joke player, and then he just got good. Like he just got good at basketball.
And now he's a meme, but he's good.
And now he started as a meme. Now is a good meme player. It's crazy.
No, it's amazing to see. I love his defense, bro. He's literally like a bruiser in the paint, and he'll just swat that John out of there, or he'll just steal the ball away from him. I love that he's just and that is exactly. I love big men that can shoot. I love big men that can shoot. The people that can just stretch the floor and
stretch bigs. Yeah,
I love stretch bigs. And you have 2 of them out there. And you got Rudy just down in their paint. If you don't need to kick out,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, especially you got Anthony Edwards running towards the rim. If he can't get a bucket, he'll kick out. If he can't kick out, he'll dish it right to Rudy. That's a lot.
That's how it should be.
I love you gotta love to see that. But I'm hoping to see him more in the future. He's a huge piece to this Timberwolves team, and I feel like it should be known. It's probably already known.
Yeah.
And it's just huge. You love a nice 3-and-D big. Mm-hmm. All right, at my center.
Here we go.
I picked Rudy Gobert.
Wow.
Jeez, something was in my head. Look, I could have picked KP. I could have picked Al Horford because Al Horford was huge. But I needed to pick Rudy because you said this. We were talking about the Timberwolves. Mm-hmm. Rudy had his own just like show. Like
he kind of played his own.
He kind of played his own game, in which I loved it. Like Rudy hit that fadeaway against Jokic. Like that was crazy, bro.
That was wild, dude.
He'll never do that again.
No,
but that was crazy. Like he straight drained that John.
Yeah.
But he was unstoppable. Or like not unstoppable, but like in the paint, like you could not get by him. He was a brick wall.
Yeah.
I love that. He stayed like to his game, and he got so much hate like last year.
Yeah.
And he just completely bounced back. Was like, all right, I'm Rudy Gobert. I'm turning back into what I do. I'll give you 18, and I'll give you 3 blocks and like 10 boards. Mm-hmm. And that's what he did after just completely like sucking last year. And like he was a horrible teammate.
Yeah.
Like he punched Kyle Anderson last year.
That was weird.
Like that was weird. And then everyone loves him.
Yeah.
Like,
somehow the team is like all right after that.
It was so weird. Like everyone went from hating Rudy Gobert completely to now like, all right, like okay, Rudy.
It's crazy that he punched Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Shows you what you can do when you take accountability for punching a teammate, Draymond Green. Anyway.
God, Draymond Green. But I could have went with Embiid. I could have went with Isaiah Hartenstein.
Oh, hell no.
I'm kidding.
Stop that.
That was a joke. But I just feel like I have to give that to Rudy. And I'm disappointed that the defense just completely collapsed.
It was weird.
You got cooked.
Yeah.
And Lucas started talking a lot of smack in your face. But, you know, besides that series, I feel like the rest of the playoffs, he literally cemented. He
was good.
That he was the decoy.
He was great.
He was great. So I guess I'll give a little recap of my lineup.
Absolutely.
I got my point guard, Luka Doncic. At my shooting guard, I picked who the hell did I just pick?
You got it?
Dude, no.
You got it?
I got it.
The Finals MVP.
Oh my no. No, I didn't pick Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, you picked Jaylen Brown.
I did pick Jaylen Brown?
You picked Jaylen Brown.
Oh, I did pick Jaylen. Wait, are you sure?
I'm positive you picked Jaylen Brown.
No, I picked Anthony Edwards.
You picked Jaylen Brown.
No, I picked AE.
I swear to God, you picked Jaylen Brown.
No, I definitely picked AE.
All right.
We're going to go back on the footage. This is I'm such a casual, but, it's been a long week. But I think I picked... No. I picked AE, and I picked Jason Tatum because I said he got robbed. How Jaylen Brown robbed him of...
We'll look at it after this, but
I think I went Anthony Edwards at my shooting guard. Small forward, I went Jason Tatum. Paula Ford. Power forward, I went Naz Reid. And at my center, I went Rudy Gobert.
So you picked 3 Wolves.
Damn.
Team of the playoffs.
I feel like you could argue that.
Well, besides the champions.
Yeah, but I mean, no, everyone knew they were going to do what they were going to do.
I'm joking. Either way, great final lineup.
Great season.
We've had a lot of good lineups, a lot of good drafts, a lot of fun guests.
Yeah,
We're out in the woods right now for the final episode, surrounded by nature.
You hear the birds chirping.
Absolutely, you can. I hope you can. That'd be pretty funny. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the season 1 finale of the Cuppacast.
Thank you guys so much.
Everybody, as we've been saying the whole year, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching or listening. It's been a lot of fun this year, so we're expecting to keep continuing this on. Obviously, you'll hear from us during the off season and then into next season. But yeah, what a great year it was.
What a great year.
Came a long way. Once again, can't say it enough. Thank you guys all.
Thank you
for tuning in. Season finale here. For those who don't already follow us, you can find us everywhere as the Cuppa Sports Network or Cuppa's SN. And yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in.
Hopefully it's an interesting off season.
I hope so too.
Thank you. Peace.